Oh yeah, it's Friday. Here I am. It's Friday. Hello, colleagues. Welcome to our Friday Digital Professional Development Friday. I'm so excited to welcome you all. I am accompanied by my colleague Diana. Diana, do you want to pop in and say hello? And Diana and I will be hosting, co-hosting this Professional Development Fridays with our wonderful team. And we want to provide you some face updates. So, as you guys know, we're kicking off our Family Engagement Month with a couple of series of workshops. It is Parent Engagement Month nationally. So this is a time where family facing staff like ourselves are celebrating parents as partners. We're also bringing awareness that why parent engagement is so important to students' academic success as well as their social and emotional wellness. So we did start off this week with providing some Learning Hero workshops. If your parents missed the Learning Hero workshops, we do have a couple of other dates for makeup. On November the 10th, from 6 to 7, we have another workshop. And we also have our last workshop on November the 16th from 6 to 7. So please share the link, join us, because the more of us as DOE colleagues are on the line, it really helps to kind of engage our parents in the chat. Lastly, I want to take you to our parent coordinator website. I'm going to drop the link to Lori so she can to take us quickly to the PC website where I'm going to share some information on how you can take action this month. So I so this month, parent coordinators, FLCs, we want you to take the challenge, and it's called the Why Not Challenge. And what is the Why Not Challenge? The Why Not Challenge is an opportunity to showcase your virtual family events. You can also take the challenge by easily just accepting the challenge. So, for example, I'm going to just do a quick script. I, Derry, Laura, can you challenge me to a why not challenge? Let's give them a quick preview. Just challenge me. Say, Derry, I challenge Derry to the why not challenge.
I challenge Derry to the Why Not Challenge.
What? Absolutely, I'll take the why not challenge because I am doing amazing work in my school community to bridge resources to my families. So I am going to take according to this list, I'm gonna take do a virtual coffee with the parent coordinators. I'm hosting a virtual coffee with the parent coordinators so that my families could get to know who I am as their parent coordinator and what I'm doing in the virtual world to promote parent engagement. So I'm taking the Why Not Challenge and I'm gonna tag 3 people, and I'm tagging my colleague Diana. I'm tagging my colleague Laura, and I'm tagging my colleague Lisa. Are you guys willing to take the Why Not Challenge?
Woo! Yes, I
Why not?
am.
And now I'm going to show you quickly how you can post your Why Not Challenge, but by just sharing a quick flip grid that I created. So this is just for today, and I'll show you how exactly in the end of the week wrap up how you can take the Why Not Challenge by responding to my Why Not Challenge to all of you family facing staff. But today, check out my flip grid.
All right, here we go.
Greetings, colleagues. Welcome to Friday, our Digital Professional Development Fridays. Today, we're going to learn a little bit about how to connect with our families on a digital platform. And also, I want to send a friendly reminder that it's Family Empowerment Month. So we're hoping that each and every one of you will join the fun by sharing how you are empowering families in your school and in your district. So I will go over how to create a flip grant so that you can record some of your fun activities using this platform. So welcome and happy Friday.
Woo! I love it. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. So as you guys can see, it is a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's fun. We have Lisa, who actually we have a prompt that every Friday you're able to kind of share with us how are you using your Friday information. So like right after um, any class that you take with our Friday series, we want to feature you every Fridays, and we want to know how you use this information. So next week, we are going to hopefully see you in the screen and you can share exactly how you use our information. Especially today, we're going to learn about how to host a watch party. So, guys, it's all about learning and also empowering our families. So with that, I just want to quickly, I want to make sure that my colleague Diana says hello because we will be on the chat just saying hello to you all and enjoying this class with you. So Diana, you want to just unmute yourself and just say hello really quickly? So it looks like Diana is there somewhere. We will find you, Diana. We promise. But with that, I just want to turn it back over to Laura, and she's going to introduce our next guest.
You got it. Awesome. Well, if you guys are just seeing Flipgrid for the first time, you are in for a treat. We're going to get you on there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Another great tool to connect with your families and communities. But we are going to turn it over to Tally, who is going to share some updates and some information around common sense.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much. So I feel like this has been a little bit of a heavy week, so I wanted to share some helpful links. And just as a reminder, Common Sense is a partner with the New York City Department of Ed. We've been a partner for going on 10 years, and we are a nonprofit organization that provides resources to families and to educators around helping kids navigate the digital world. So what Laura is sharing right now, and maybe, oh, thank you for popping that in the chat too, Laura. This is from Wide Open School, where we also have a partnership with the DOE. And basically we curate a whole bunch of different learning resources from over 85 partners. And the bucket that Laura just pulled up is from our emotional well-being. And I just thought that this was a really great activity to share and that you can share with your family. So I really want to focus on just those first two where it says, why be grateful? And there's a short video that you can go to. You can see that this is ideal for 5th through 12th grade. I mean, 5th through 9th grade. We don't have to show the whole video here, but it just talks through.
Hi, Kate here.
Different gratefulness activities or gratitude journals you can set up. And then the second one, you can see it's labeled offline. So that's an activity that doesn't refer you back to anything online. And it's just, I'd like to toast. And it's just the idea of the next time you're with your family, everyone getting together and making a toast to each other. I have done this with my own family. We've also done this at staff meetings, which has been great, where we all just take turns toasting each other. It's just a nice way to kind of either, especially today, close your weekend. So I encourage you to try this out, share this with your families, or even, right now, send a quick text, write a quick note in the chat to someone you appreciate, let them know why. So that was the first one I wanted to show. And then the second link I wanted to share is from our Common Sense education site, where we have free K through 12th grade resources, specifically our digital citizenship curriculum. And that one is, I wanted to highlight, and I think I sent you this link too, Laura. I'm going to pop it in the chat for everybody, but it's our Young Voters Guide. And I'll put that back into, oh, awesome. Thank you. The Young Voters Guide, it just has a lot of great resources for educators, so you could share this with your teachers. But if you scroll all the way down, Laura, there's also even further. So you've got the tools for teachers, those are lessons, and then resources for parents and families. And there's just different articles, short videos that can help families talk to their kids about how to navigate the news. So I wanted to share those two resources for everyone and just wish you a happy and relaxing upcoming weekend. Thanks, FACE and DIIT.
Thank you so much, Tally. And I can't, plug Common Sense enough. They have been an incredible partner. And I can tell you, as someone who worked in the classroom very recently, literally up until March of this school year, I used a lot of the resources from Common Sense, not only to teach digital citizenship, but really pull some of the other work in, our news and media literacy. And I think, again, now more than ever, that is so important. So those resources that are there are phenomenal. And if you're not making use of them, definitely make use of them and really share this information with your family community, because that's what this is about. They need so much support right now, and Common Sense makes it a lot easier for families. And I've heard that specifically from the families that I've worked with. They said, "Oh my gosh, like I didn't realize this existed, but this is phenomenal." So if you haven't shared it with your family communities, please do. It's a game changer. So that's my little plug for Common Sense. But let's get started. We always like to do some polls. If you don't know and you are just joining us for the first time, we like to know who's in the room. So I am launching this poll right now. Let us know who you are. Get the feeling we've got a lot of our PCs, FSCs, FLCs. But if you're a teacher, school secretary, administrator, let us know that as well. We've also got that other category. So if you are an other, pop in the chat what you do. We love to bring in as many folks as possible. Again, if this is your first time here, you're going to learn really fast. We are all about inclusion, not just in the digital sense, but also in terms of just building community and really inviting folks in. We're just trying to help you share information and grow and learn together. So let us know who you are and what you do. And it looks like I'm going to keep this open for a little while longer, but it looks like, again, we have a lot of PCs. So welcome. We love our parent coordinators. Going to give you guys about 10 more seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and end our poll. And I will share the results with you. Again, overwhelmingly, lots of parent coordinators, which we love to see. One more time, just in case you missed it, we want to try and get as many folks into today's call. We've got a lot of great resources to share. So share the link with a buddy. Get your friends to come. We don't discriminate. So if there's an admin, another parent coordinator, FSC, FLC, anyone, basically, bring them on in. Why not? If they're free, come on. All right. And we want to know, how are you feeling? So one more poll. How are you feeling today? It is perfectly okay to be somewhere in like the E, maybe even the D range, because again, it's been quite a week. So maybe you're in that whoa, what is happening right now? We value all feelings. So and maybe you're feeling like me, where I'm a mix of these emotions. I don't know, I should have made this poll for this week slightly different, where you could pick more than one feeling. Maybe that's what we'll do moving forward. It's like you can pick a few feelings, because right now I feel like I'm having all the feelings. All right, and I'm going to give you guys about 10 more seconds to fill that out. For those of you that don't know, doing stuff like this, it might feel a little silly, a little hokey, but the truth is that, building in this time to check in with your colleagues, starting your meetings this way, it's actually a nice way to start. So we like to model good practice, and that's what we're doing for you here today. I'm going to go ahead and stop our poll. It looks like the vast majority of you are feeling tired, because like I said, it's been 4 weeks in one. Just go ahead, cram the whole month of November into the first week. Why don't you? But you're here, you made it, and we are going to get started now with our awesome PD today. We are going to be going over how to host a watch party. So I know some of you have probably attended a watch party. They've become very popular, especially in this digital world that we are now in, this remote only world. So watch parties are happening. And I know that Face has been doing Watch Party Wednesdays, but we want you guys to now be able to lead your own watch parties. So that is what this is all about. We are going to go through today the watch party basics. We'll talk about kind of what you need to do to set up a watch party. We'll then walk you through kind of what happens during and even take you to the process after. So hopefully after today, you're going to feel confident, and maybe even as part of your family empowerment month, you're going to get a watch party scheduled for your school and your community. That is the goal. So, what is a watch party? What are we talking about? For those of you who may not have ever attended one, a watch party is when folks gather in some sort of online platform to watch a video or possibly some other digital content. Now, the benefit of a watch party is not only are you watching that content together, but you're interacting with each other while you watch. And that's kind of what makes a watch party so powerful, is that you are then kind of using that time to talk, share ideas. You may even pause the video to connect and talk even deeper. So they're a really, really powerful way to share content and learn and grow together. So why would we do a watch party, right? What's the benefit to it? Well, it's more fun to watch together. I can tell you right now, our team, DIIT and some of our colleagues, we engage in regular watch parties. We love to watch content together. It's easier to share and collaborate ideas. We also do this because it's a great way to share content that sometimes others don't have access to. So, for example, we did a watch party with The Social Dilemma, which is a fairly recent documentary on Netflix. Some folks don't have Netflix, but when you do a watch party, right, you now can share your content, and someone who doesn't have Netflix can join your watch party and get the benefit of watching content that they wouldn't normally have had access to. So it's a nice way to kind of share the wealth. And let's face it, videos are a powerful learning tool. We know that teachers right now are using videos. We know that adult learners love videos. So why not capitalize off of that format and use it to connect and learn with our family communities? So before you begin, there's a couple of things you want to do to set yourself up for success. So we're going to walk through those kind of beforehand things you're going to want to do. So you want to set up your watch party in whichever platform you prefer. We're not going to say which platform is best. I know folks love to ask us that question, and the truth is that we don't have a preference. Our team is fairly agnostic when it comes to the platforms that we use. So if you like Zoom, feel free to use Zoom. You like Microsoft Teams, go with Teams. You like Google Meet, go with Meet. I mean, the truth is that the platform itself doesn't matter so much. I would recommend using your preferred platform, or if your school has been using, Zoom and you've been consistent with Zoom, don't get creative and use something that you don't know so well. That's my advice on the platform situation. Use something that you know. That way you can, make use of the tools within the platform. Now, whichever that platform is, you want to schedule your watch party to begin somewhere between 5 to 15 minutes before it's going to start. So if you want to get started at, say, 10 a.m., we're going to host a watch party at 10 a.m., actually invite folks maybe for 9:45. Right? That's kind of what we do for ourselves. In case you haven't noticed, we have these PD Fridays, and we set them to start at 10, but we always spend the first few minutes going over updates because we know that those first few minutes, folks are still trickling into the room. But by 10:15, we get launched into our lessons and our content. So that's the same principle behind this. If you know you want to start watching right at 10, schedule the room to open 9:45, maybe even 9:50. And again, this gives folks time to trickle in, but it also gives you time to troubleshoot any technical issues before the watch party starts. It's also a great chance to network. You guys know folks that come into the room a little early. You're here early. You're saying, "Hey, what's up?" You're welcoming each other. You're in the chat. You're getting settled. So that's why you kind of set yourself up with a little buffer time. You also want to schedule time after the watch party. So, for example, if you know that you're going to be watching a video that's 30 minutes long, you don't want to schedule your watch party from 10 to 10:30. First of all, that gives no buffer time in the beginning, but it also gives no buffer time at the end. If you know you're watching a 30-minute video, you probably want to allot actually an hour. And the reason is you want that buffer time in the beginning, but you also want time after to be able to discuss, debrief, do maybe a couple of quick activities in conjunction with the video you just watched. So that's why you need to think about, what video am I watching? How long is it? And then let me put some time before the video. Let me put some time after the video. Now, some technical things again, make sure you share the join link with your participants. If you're sending out a calendar invite, in that invite, highlight what's going to be shared, right? What is your watch party about? Don't just say, oh, we're doing a watch party. Well, what am I watching? Right? What's the topic? Why am I going to want to come to this? If possible, have an agenda. Our team loves agendas. In fact, we're actually in the process of creating a class on how to run some effective online facilitation. And we have that as part of that class. We want to make sure that folks have an agenda where you house all your resources. It makes it a whole lot easier. Again, for folks who've been coming for several weeks in a row, you know that that's what we do. That's our practice. So have an agenda. It keeps you organized, and it also centralizes all your resources. Um, Beforehand as well, you can create polls, trivia, even questions to share with folks. This actually also helps, address those tech issues. So you've been noticing, we start our sessions oftentimes with polls. We ask things like, who's in the room? How you feeling? What's going on, right? These are things you want to take with you into this type of event. Have those. It helps keep your audience engaged. Nothing is more boring and sucks the fun out of a watch party than like, okay, we're just watching it and we're all really quiet and nothing's happening. There's no polls, there's no talking there. It's just like, oh, we're all just watching it. What's the point of that, right? The point is that you're watching it together, so might as well make use of those collaboration features. Now, when you're sharing pre-recorded content, so something say from Netflix or a YouTube link that you're going to watch together, take the time to review what it is that you're going to watch. That way, maybe those parts that you're going to want to pause and discuss. Those points where, like, maybe you're going to launch a poll, you're going to get folks engaged. But anytime you have the ability to watch that pre-recorded content, do. It's just going to help you plan better. If you're doing a watch party where you're watching a live event, I'm thinking back to like the few months ago and during the summer when our team would actually conduct watch parties to watch Carranza talk to us, and so we'd watch together. That's a live event. You never really know what's going to happen. And so in that event, if you're watching something live, have just maybe a document off to the side, or even if you want to go old school, keeping a pen notepad next to you and maybe jotting some points down that you're going to want to discuss in the debrief. But again, when possible, watch that pre-recorded content so that you know those points that you're going to want to stop and pause and discuss. Now, from the tech side of things, you want to test your equipment. So prior to your watch party, you want to open all your links that you're going to need, and you want to do that in a separate tab. So I actually, and I'll go ahead and pop out of here so you can see. So whenever I am doing any type of presentation, I have a separate window that I open, and I've got my tabs that I know I'm going to need. The truth is, and I'm sure there's folks on the call the same way, the truth is my real set of tabs that I use when I'm working, there's like 20 of them. I'm one of those. I'm like, you're either a one tab person or you're 20. There is no in between. I see Christina going, yep, that's me. So to avoid the hassle of like, I have too many tabs. I don't know which tab is like my video. I don't know which tab is my presentation. Open up a new window and pop in the tabs that you're going to use during your presentation. That way you're not overwhelmed. Like I said, I did this intentionally just to show you right now what my tabs are. I have my opening slide deck, which you guys were seeing. Here is what I shared with you from Common Sense. Here's Derry's Flipgrid. This is my presentation that I'm doing now. I've got my Zoom meeting open. Again, this was the wide open school resource, and here's from FACE. Very few tabs, and these are all tabs that I showed in today's session. Like I said, my other window, you don't even want to take a peek at that. That has, I say 20, I'm actually being pretty conservative with that number. It's closer to 50. I don't know where anything is. So, like I said, you want to open up all the links you need separately in a window so that way you don't get confused and you don't lose stuff. You want to test your audio, your camera, and your devices. You want to make sure that things are working. If possible, pull in someone with you to help you, because it's hard to gauge your own audio. Sometimes you're like, oh, but it's working, I hear it, but you need someone to say, wait, do you hear it on your end? So pull in a colleague, open up again. If you're going to run this watch party in Zoom, go into a Zoom room and say, let me practice sharing my screen. Do you hear my audio? Do you see everything? Do I have a good setup? And this is just going to help you prepare. And then be ready to have what you need at your fingertips. And again, this is from a presenter side of things. I always have, right now I'm drinking my tea. I know you can't see it with my background, but here we go. So I've got my tea. When I teach later in the day, I've got like my cup of water next to me. Have what you need in your vicinity. I know it seems like common sense, but nothing's worse than when you feel tethered to your computer and you're like, oh man, I need a snack. I need my water, but I can't move. So have what you need. Don't forget all of that stuff. And, beforehand, do yourself a favor, do a bio break, make sure that you're fully ready. I know these things, again, it seems like commonsensical, but you'd be surprised when you're in the thick of it and you realize, oh no, I didn't do any of that stuff. Um, then for you as a presenter who is hosting this watch party, you want to join your session a few minutes early. So if you're telling folks, we're watching that recording at 10, I'm opening up the room at 9:50, you want to be there at 9:45, right? You want to get there even earlier than your participants. You want to have a welcome slide with important information, and I'll show you in just a moment what ours looks like. You've seen it before, but have that welcome slide so that when folks come into the room, they know they're in the right spot. They see like, oh yeah, this is that watch party. It should say something to the effect of what they're watching, who the host is. So that might be you as the parent coordinator. Um, if there's a particular website you want to plug, any online communities or resources, have it on that opening slide deck so that folks see it. As I said before, give folks time to come into the room, allow them to introduce themselves, socialize, right? Like that's one of the really nice features of this type of platform is that you can come in and you open up the chat, you say hi, what's up, you realize, oh wait, it's so and so, I haven't seen you in a hot minute, hey, what's going on? Again, I know some of this stuff sounds silly, but it's so needed right now. Let's not forget this is also part of our own social and emotional health and learning, right? We need that time to connect with each other. And again, all of this will help identify some of the tech problems, right? So if you're realizing, oh no, so and so can't see me, or this other person doesn't have access to the chat, gives you some time to help troubleshoot. So here is just a sample of an opening slide deck. Again, you can use this or you can make your own. You don't have to use a template exactly like this, but this is just, again, what you want to do. So the title of your watch party or whatever session you're hosting, your name or your company. So, maybe it's you as the parent coordinator and PS 123. Give the day and the time. If there's an agenda, which again, we highly recommend, pop that link in there. If you have some sort of attendance that you want to record, any online communities, you may want to link your school website. Even your social media platform. So if you want folks, go into your Twitter page, link that as well. Again, this is just an opening slide deck that folks are going to see when they come in. So you want to have this at the ready. And then if you can have someone on the back end side, another colleague who's supporting you, they can then take all this information and pop it into the chat. So you've seen that again from our team. Folks like Latiqua, I believe Tali then reshared it as well. But if you've got some moderators, they can then continually pop those important links into the chat. Because when you're sharing your screen, folks aren't going to be able to click on your stuff. So that's why we do that, right? Like I'm sharing my screen, but you're not clicking on my screen. So that's why you want to have your back channel moderators who are going to help you insert all those links. So how do you run the watch party, right? Again, we're going over a lot of the logistical stuff, but it is honestly on the easier side of things. It's just a lot to consider, but you want to start your meeting, obviously. So join it, get in there. Then you want to share your screen. In Zoom, which is the platform that we're using, fairly easy. You see the icon that says share your screen. My recommendation for folks is to, when you're sharing, share that window. You don't necessarily need to share your entire desktop. And I say this from like a privacy standpoint. Sometimes you may have other things open. So the fear sometimes when you share your entire desktop is, what if you've got sensitive information? Again, I told you I'm one of those 50 tabbers. So there's sometimes, things I don't want folks to see. I may have, another screen open with my other chats. So that is why you would just want to share one particular window. Now, when you share your screen, depending on the platform and the device you're using, you may need to share audio. We run into this all the time with Lisa Nielsen. She's like, oh, darn, I forgot to share my audio. And that's specific to her device when she's doing this in Teams. I believe when she's on the other platform, she doesn't have that issue. So again, this goes into that, like, running through the setup and realizing what you need to do to share your audio, to share the right way. So this is why you practice. That way you know what you need to do. Now, depending also what type of headset you're on, sometimes you need to figure that piece out. I'll be really honest. I typically, when I'm doing a watch party, I have this headset on. When I take other meetings, I use my AirPods. Some of you may have that. I will tell you right now, if you're using AirPods, it is very difficult to share your audio. Don't know why. I honestly haven't had the time to fully explore it, but again, that's something to know, that sometimes depending on the headset or earphones that you're using, it may be difficult to share your audio. So again, play around, figure out which setup you need so that you're going to share your audio. Because nothing's worse than you're sharing a video and you're hearing all the sound, your participants are going, I don't hear anything. I got nothing. Then obviously you're watching that digital content together, pausing as necessary to facilitate discussion. So there's a few ways to do this, and we'll talk more through it as we go through our presentation. But again, it may be that you fully pause. It may be that maybe just as you're watching, you launch a poll. Obviously you want the chat open, so chatting can happen throughout while you're watching. There really, again, are various ways to do that, but you definitely want to engage your audience. You don't just want folks watching a screen staying completely silent the whole time. That's not what a watch party is really about. And then again, if you're in a particular platform, make use of those tools. So like we said, the polls, but also even things like GIFs and memes. Actually, one of the reasons why I also love conducting watch parties on Teams. Teams has like the GIFs in there, and I tell you, our team loves the GIFs. If you don't love a good GIF, I don't know what you're doing. But it's fun, and there's value to that. So have fun with your sessions. I'm a big proponent of that. We need to make these sessions engaging and fun and collaborate with each other. We don't need to be so stiff, right? And you're going to get better engagement when you inject a little fun. So that's just my little aside on that. So now during the watch party, you're in it, you've launched it, everything's running beautifully, you got your sound, right? Everything's going amazing. Now what? Well, You definitely want to help folks get prepared. So again, in the chat, show folks where things are going. We have a housekeeping slide, and you guys have probably seen it, but we'll show you a sample of ours in just a minute. But show folks the platform, because again, maybe you feel really comfortable in Zoom, but you never know what your participants feel comfortable with. Maybe they're not too familiar with Zoom. They don't know where the buttons and the features are. So having a slide that points it out, definitely helpful. Before playing your video, start your session by clearly conveying expectations. Again, we do this every single week, and sometimes it ends up feeling a little like I could recite this in my sleep, and I probably can because I say it pretty much at the start of each one of my sessions. But just letting folks know, we're going to keep our mics muted. Let's use the chat. Here's how you ask for support. You want to have that, because there will be times where the folks on your watch party are going to go, wait, but I have a question. How do I ask a question, right? So you want to communicate that information. You also want to frame the whole watch party, not just the watching part. You want to tell folks, hey, we're watching this video, but we're watching it because it's going to help us with digital literacy and digital citizenship, or this is going to help us. We're watching this video because it's going to explain how we conduct elections in our schools for our PTAs and our PAs, right? So really frame why you're doing the work, not just the watching. And then we do have a housekeeping script. I will tell you, I can rehearse it in my sleep now because I've done it so many times. But in the beginning, I used to have a whole script in front of me, and I was literally reading off of it. So if you need that, there's no shame in it. Have a separate window open and have that housekeeping script up so that you know what to say. There's no shame in that. The other thing that you can do is in your slide deck. If you're sharing a slide deck like I am right now, you can use the speaker notes. The speaker notes appear at the bottom of your deck, and you can always use a second device and have your speaker notes up. I'm going to talk about the second device in just a moment, because I'm a very big proponent on using two devices. So I'll tell you about that, like I said, in just a few. But here is our housekeeping slide. And this actually is one for Teams. We have two different housekeeping slides. We have one for Teams, we have one for Zoom. So do know that things will shift and change depending, again, on the platform you're in. So this one is particular Teams, but have one for Zoom as well. If you utilize Meet, again, have it for Meet. Whichever platform you are using, have a slide deck that matches that. So we tell folks where they can access the chat, right? How to raise their hand. Again, this is Teams, so you can insert emojis, you can insert GIFs, they got stickers, they got all sorts of fun stuff. So again, this is what Teams looks like, but you saw earlier when we launched our meeting, we showed a very, very similar housekeeping slide that was pertinent to Zoom. So you can adapt and change this for your particular platform. And again, you just have a couple of bullet points so that folks know what the expectations are for mics, how to ask questions, how to participate, and just how to use some of the basic functions of the platform. All right, so what are we doing, right? Well, obviously we're watching the video, right? Duh, watching the video. But we also want to use the chat to comment on the video, share ideas, opinions. Again, if you're watching pre-recorded content, this is a great way for you to then know what prompts you're going to ask. So having like a little cheat sheet document where it's like, all right, when we get to 11 minutes in, here's my question I'm popping into the chat, or here's the poll I'm going to launch. It may be that you're doing polls while the video is playing. You may even decide we're going to pause right here. So, 5 minutes in, I'm actually hitting pause. We are stopping. We are going to do a quick chat. Maybe folks are going to unmute. Again, it depends on what structure you want to put in place. We're not saying there's a right or a wrong way to do it. It really is based on what you feel is appropriate. But with that pre-recorded content, again, it allows you to think about when you're going to ask stuff and what you're going to ask and how you're going to do it. If you're going to pause and chat, or if you're just going to launch polls, or if you're just going to pop things into the chat and let conversations happen while you watch. Again, there is no one right way to do this. We also have a really nice protocol that we like to use, and I'll show you that in just a few, but we utilize something called a frame, focus, and follow-up protocol. And again, it's a really powerful way to uh, share videos, because as I like to put it, and I used to use a lot of videos in the classroom with my students, we're not passively watching. And when I say passive, what I mean is we're not just watching where like almost like the computer's watching you back, right? We want to engage our audience. We want to be talking. We want to be thinking. I always like to refer to videos as like, digital text, right? There's a lot of really great stuff that's happening. And the same way you would do if you were, in a book club, or if you were in, if you were reading something and wanting to talk about what you're reading with your audience, you'd want to do the same with a video. We're not just mindlessly watching videos. You can do that on your own. We don't have to set up a watch party to do that. I could drop the link and say, here's the link to YouTube, watch it. The benefit of a watch party is that you are with others. And so you want to use the chat. You want to benefit from being able to grow and share ideas. So, utilizing a protocol where you're giving folks some specific things to respond to and say is really, really important. Using those polls helps keep folks engaged. And then once it's over, again, building in that time for discussion, right? Maybe if you have a larger crowd, you're going to utilize the chat. You're going to force folks to kind of, make sure they're raising their hands so you don't have a free for all. But if it's a smaller group, maybe you are having folks unmute themselves and sharing that way. Again, it depends on what makes sense for you, your school, and the type of event that you're running, but you want to have that time to share and discuss. I can't say that enough, because that's the whole point of a watch party. Again, I keep saying this. I know it feels a little repetitive, but we're just with each one of these really digging even deeper. So we want to utilize the chat. It's helpful to use the @ symbol to tag people. Now, the really nice thing in Teams is that when you use the @ symbol, it actually tags them. Unlike in Zoom, where you can use the @ symbol, but sometimes if you've got a lot of folks on the call, which has happened to us, we're sitting over here at over 100 folks. And if everyone starts talking, sometimes the comments go really fast and you don't get tagged. So consider that, when you're thinking about your platform and kind of what you want. Again, many of the platforms include the ability to react to comments, to share GIFs, to even share files. You might be able to. I know in Zoom you can drop an attachment in. You can share a resource. Maybe you want to share a link. You're watching a video and you're like, oh my goodness, this is making me think of this article I read. Again, those are all things you'd want to put in the chat. And then just be mindful that even when you are going to tell folks, hey, you can come off of mute, you can use your mic, chat. Some folks may feel more comfortable being in the actual typing chat as opposed to coming onto their mics. So honor that folks participate in different ways, and that some folks, even when you prompt them, are going to say, I'd rather respond in the chat. That's perfectly okay. It just means that as a host, you've got to be able to pull a little double duty. And that's the benefit of having a colleague with you. So a colleague that can help moderate the chat so that you can kind of moderate, when folks are wanting to unmute and speak. Now, here's that frame, focus, and follow-up protocol. We're actually going to practice this together. But this comes to us from PBS Learning Media. It's a protocol that I have actually used with my students. So when you are going to share a video, you want to frame the video. That means you want to provide context so that your viewers can pay attention to the main content of the video. When we did our social dilemma watch party, we framed it. We said, right now, you've probably heard a lot of things regarding social media. We're in an election year. You've heard things about social media and fake news and algorithms. So we're going to be watching the social dilemma because it helps break down what happens on the social media end of things. The focus helps your viewers notice important moments by giving them something to be on the lookout for as they watch. So you may tell folks, as you watch this video, notice what they tell us about the algorithms and how they were developed, or notice who they interview, right? Notice who is speaking during the social dilemma, because they clearly targeted a certain group of people to share. Maybe you want to talk about whose voice is left out. That's always an interesting one to do. Um, but again, your focus gives some guidance so that people are watching with a purpose. That's the whole point. And then the follow-up provides an opportunity for your viewers to summarize what they saw and build on that, on the ideas. And this is where that watch party with multiple folks gets exciting, because then you're saying, oh wait, you thought that? Oh, I had this idea. Oh wow, look at how we are now kind of taking our ideas and growing and learning together. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's powerful. It's powerful stuff. So let's go ahead and practice. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this video, and I'm not going to tell you the frame, focus, and follow up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys to watch and practice. So before we do that, let me just go back. Remember, the frame is providing context so that your viewers know what they're about to watch. The focus is what you're going to tell your viewers to kind of hone in on, right? Giving them that nugget to say, hey, pay attention to this. And then the third thing is the follow-up, which is, all right, after we watch the video, what are we discussing? So we're going to watch this video. It is super quick. It's just under 2 minutes. We'll watch this. And at the end, I want you guys to tell me what you think you would tell folks is the frame, the focus, and the follow-up.
As we begin the new school year, MCPS will provide an engaging virtual learning experience for all students. To optimize your learning, here are some helpful tips. Live instruction will occur throughout the day and week, so time management is important. Wake up, have breakfast, and be ready to start a day of virtual learning, just like a regular school day. There will be time for meals and breaks. Take advantage of those opportunities to stretch and step away from your Chromebook. Find a comfortable and organized space, free of distractions to work in. Learn to say no to friends and family when you have work to complete. Virtual classroom time is not the right time to browse social media, play games, or watch videos. It's important to stay focused, like you would in a traditional classroom. Avoid falling behind. Coursework is much more manageable if you complete tasks each and every day. Your teachers are here to help you. Be active, participate, and ask questions. Teachers and staff will be available for additional live academic and/or social-emotional support. We look forward to seeing you in the virtual classroom and know that working together, we will have a great school year. For the most up-to-date information about the Fall Recovery Plan, please visit the MCPS website and search Recovery.
All right, folks. So quick video. Think about what the frame, the focus, and the follow-up might be to this video. And again, it was really short. And the truth is you can do this with a short video. You can do it with a longer video. We're obviously picking a short video for the sake of time. So take a moment and in the chat, just share out. Again, there's no right or wrong answers. We're just practicing this today. But what might you tell folks is the frame? What might you tell folks is the focus? What might be your follow-up? And I'm looking in the chat. Oh, sure. You know what? Let's go back to our previous. There we go. So you can see the different definitions for frame, focus, and follow-up. And I like what Elavian, I hope I said that correctly. I like what you said about like the frame might be organizing for remote learning, right? So we're going to watch a video that's going to help us organize ourselves for remote learning. Um, Yep, and I see Lori saying the same thing. We're going to watch a short video to prepare ourselves for digital learning success. I love that, right? Um, yep. And I see a couple of, oh, yes, Derry, what's up?
Oh, yes. So I'm helping with the I see guidelines and structure for student remote learning, focus how to structure for remote learning routines. Oh,
Mhm.
they're coming in. A frame, finding a quiet place.
I love it. So you guys are all really on point with your frames. And that's why I'm saying like there's not one way to word it, right? Like you can word things in multiple ways, but basically you want to say like, hey, we're watching this video because it's going to help us set ourselves up to have a successful, remote learning year, right? Or we're going to watch this video because they share some really great tips on how we can be successful in the virtual space, right? And then let's think about the focus, right? So this is what you're going to tell folks to pay attention to. So as the video goes on, focus on the tips that are shared, right? Focus, they're going to share 5 tips, focus on those 5 tips. And I see folks kind of saying the same thing, right? Like Cheryl saying, look for individual rules and routines. Absolutely. Ooh, and Helen, that's an awesome follow up. So, what will and won't work for you? Why? Why not? I think that's a perfect follow up, especially with anything where it's like, hey, we're going to watch this. It's going to help us set up ourselves for success. The follow up is always going to be which tip feels like the tip that you need it the most, which tip maybe not going to work so well for you. You could even do something like, hey, what tip? Our follow up is, what tip might you add? Right? That's always a nice one. I always used to do something like that with my students. Like, so we're watching this video. Tell me something they left out. It really gets folks thinking, right? So, and I really love what's being shared. Follow up could be, what new information did you find helpful? Yeah, these are fabulous. You guys are right on point. So I think you get the frame, focus, and follow protocol. That's basically what I'm saying, right, Derry? Like, folks
Yes.
know it.
We also have follow up. Check in with your teachers for tips and emotional support once all of these strategies have been addressed. Ooh, I
I
love it.
love that one. Yep. Yeah. So, like I said, you guys understand how to use this protocol, and it's really, really simple. So, when you're going to share your video, having this laid out for folks, very, very important. So, you're going to share this. We're not just writing this because it's like nice to have. This is literally what you're going to share with participants. And before we wrap up today, we are going to do a mini watch party. So, you'll see what I mean. But again, super, super helpful. And you guys have done this in the chat. So you shared your frame, focus, and follow-ups. I really liked what I saw. So let's get even more metacognitive about this. Just let's unpack the activity. What did you find easy or difficult writing these prompts? And how might this protocol help you as you begin to plan your lesson, your watch party, I should say? Do you find this to be a helpful way to kind of structure? And I already see folks going, yup, I need this in my life. I'm telling you, it makes your watch party run so much smoother. I think the frame, focus, follow-up protocol, quite possibly the easiest thing you can do to set yourself up for success. It's going to give your watch party the structure that it needs. And it just makes it a lot easier, because sometimes when you don't have this and you just decide to do a watch party, it can feel like a free for all, because then you don't know what you're going to say, you don't know what you're going to ask folks. So by doing this, you kind of steer the conversation in a particular direction. And I can tell you again, from that teacher point of view, this is your lesson, right? Teachers, when they are teaching their students, they have a lesson plan. So your frame, focus, and follow up, it's kind of like a mini lesson plan. It gives you structure while you're watching. So, best practices during a watch party. When you're sharing your screen, it may be helpful to turn your camera off to save some bandwidth. Now, I will tell you, I personally do this when I'm sharing videos, particularly on the longer side. 2-minute video, I don't need to turn my camera off. But, a 30-minute video, I'm going to want to turn my camera off. Again, it's going to help you save some bandwidth. It also, if you're doing a couple of things, which let's be real, if we're running a watch party, I'm going to try and be in the chat. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I'm also side chatting with my back channel facilitators. I'm going to turn my camera off. There's no shame in that. That's perfectly okay. Now, remember I told you I was going to talk about that second device. I am a huge proponent of having a second device to join from. So you may have noticed if you're watching me on camera, I'm always looking over here. And you probably see the side of my face. The reason I do that is because I have a second device. I know not everyone has that luxury, but if you have a second device, it's actually helpful to join from your second device. What you want to do is you want to turn your camera off. You want to make sure that your second device is muted. If not, you get that god awful feedback. But having that second device allows you to see what your participants see. So on my second device, I have this Zoom meeting open, and I'm actually seeing my screen the way you guys see it. That is the benefit of a second device. Now, there are some workarounds if you don't have a second device. On Chrome, there's an extension called Dualist. It allows you to split your screen. I personally, I just like a second device. If you're like, I don't have another laptop, Laura, like I barely got one working laptop, do know that your second device can even be a smartphone or possibly even a tablet. So don't feel like you got to have a whole fancy setup. Sometimes even just having your phone join and be your second device is super helpful. And then when possible, have a colleague in on it. Now, we said trusted student when we were talking to teachers about hosting watch parties, but for our parent coordinators on the call and our FSCs, FLCs, and other folks, having another colleague, and that's always helpful. You guys know that whenever you run a workshop, you always pull someone else in, right? Maybe it's the school guidance counselor. You and the school guidance counselor are going to do some work together. You're going to run a workshop. Whoever it is that you're presenting with, have them there with you. That way they're helping to moderate the chat. They're going to post important links. They're going to troubleshoot. We do that right now. I'm presenting, so I'm here with you guys. I have my colleagues, Christina, Derry, Lisa, Tali. They are all in the chat, Latiqua, and they're constantly posting. That way I don't have to do that because that's a lot to manage, especially as the host and the presenter. So pull in your colleagues and have them help. Tag team, maybe, if you're doing a workshop together with someone else in your building, when you're presenting, the guidance counselor is going to be in the back channel. But maybe when the guidance counselor is presenting, you swap roles. But again, having that second person, third, fourth, fifth team member, it's actually really, really helpful. It's going to make your session run way smoother. Now, after the watch party, right, we're not done. We got a little bit more to do, right? So after you're watching, you want to have time to reflect and discuss. Again, I keep going back to the watch party we did for the social dilemma because one, that documentary was super powerful. It was super powerful, and there was a lot to discuss. That documentary was actually on the lengthier side. It was an hour and a half, and we got to a point where it's like, okay, technically it's time and we want to keep talking, but we're gonna have to table this. But we needed that time to discuss. There was just too many nuggets of information that we had to like unpack and break down. So not only do you want to have that time to discuss, but you again want to have a way to structure the conversation. So you can kind of think of like the various buckets of conversations. Maybe there's some aha times, right? Times where you're going to say, okay, let's process that new learning, new ideas. Let's talk about concepts that maybe we're still unsure about. There were things in the social dilemma that fit into that category where it was like, wow, that really felt new and I'm still processing and digesting and I'm trying to work through my ideas. That's okay. It's also nice to share concepts that really resonate with you, where you're like, oh man, I needed to hear that. It really, it confirmed what I thought I knew, right? Or it challenged what I thought I knew, and it was powerful. You also might want to share appreciations, maybe something you appreciate that was said, something that really mattered to you, something that you were grateful for that was shared in the particular video. Again, sometimes we watch things and it's like, someone said the thing that I've been thinking, right? And reaffirming our beliefs, absolutely important. So that's why we're saying, you want to share those ahas, you want to share the appreciations, and then you also want to think about actionable steps. So maybe after watching a video, you're going to say, it's changed my thinking so much that I'm actually going to do something different. I know that for me, after I watched The Social Dilemma, it actually forced me to be a little bit more cognizant when I'm on social media. And that was something that I walked away with afterwards, where it's like, sometimes I'm on there and I am a little mindless. I go on Facebook, I'm scrolling through, not really thinking. I want to be a more thoughtful user. I need to monitor for myself because, I've never done that before. That was an actionable step that I walked away from that watch party with. So again, that can be something that you share and ask folks to do, like, hey, after watching this, are you going to maybe do something different? Are you going to do something at all? It doesn't even have to be about different or same. Maybe just you're going to do something. But again, these are just some ways to structure the conversation so that, again, it doesn't feel like a free for all. Now, as promised, we are going to do a quick demo. Again, we're going to watch a 2-minute video, but I want to practice this with you so that you see what it might look like. So we are going to watch this video. The video, as you can see on my screen, is called The 7 Keys to Creative Collaboration. So my frame for this video is, this video highlights the various elements for effective teamwork. So as you watch, what I want you to do is pay attention to the 7 keys to collaboration, because they're going to highlight those 7 keys. And I want you to think as you're watching, do I agree with this list? Because our follow-up is going to be, what might you add? Maybe they're missing that 8th, 9th, 10th key. Or what might you take away? Maybe you're looking at that going, that doesn't necessarily jive with my idea of creative collaboration. But you now see our frame, our focus, and our follow-up. I'm going to press play. Let's be ready at the end of our video to talk about what we might add or remove from the list they're going to share with us.
We've all had times when group work failed. People missed deadlines, failed to communicate, and didn't learn from mistakes. But chances are you've also been part of a team when you accomplished something epic together that you could have never done on your own. So what makes this creative collaboration work effectively? Well, here are 7 ideas. Number 1, ownership. Members need to be empowered from the start. Here they can solve problems, generate ideas, and design systems that lead to success. Number 2, dependability. Creative collaboration requires members to hit their deadlines and develop creative endurance. Number 3, trust. When members trust one another, they work interdependently. Here they genuinely listen to one another and assume the best in each other. Over time, they become transparent and even vulnerable. Number 4, structure. The structure should be loose and flexible, but you need to have structure in creative collaboration. It needs to exist. This is why I love design thinking. It's a flexible framework for getting the most out of the entire creative process. Number 5, a shared vision. I'm not referring here to vision statements that you put on a wall or slap onto a website. I'm thinking more in terms of a sense of direction. It's a shared desire, a goal that you're aiming for, and a picture of what you will produce. Number 6, fun. The best collaborative groups I've been a part of are the ones where you want to be together. They laugh, they play together, and this can actually boost both convergent and divergent thinking. Number 7, candor. This is one of the big takeaways from Creativity Inc., a book by one of the co-founders of Pixar. It's the idea that groups need to be honest about what's working and what's failing. And this honesty allows you to adjust and iterate and ultimately create something awesome.
All right, folks. So let's get back to our follow-up. What might be, there we go. What might be some things we add or we take away from this list? So I'll give you a moment to share your ideas in the chat. And again, this is just our protocol for following up with the video we just watched. So remember, I told you as you were watching to pay attention to those 7 keys to collaboration. Kind of, do you agree with their list? And now we're saying, this is something I would like, I agree with, I want to use this, or they needed to add this in, they need to take this out. So take a moment. Again, there are no right or wrongs. This is us talking and discussing and debriefing a video. Ooh, and I like what's happening in the chat already, right? Talking about time and space. And I just saw someone say respect. And you know what's funny is, whenever I watch this video, I think it's the one thing they don't like explicitly touch on. It's almost implied in kind of the different elements that are shared. But you're absolutely right. They never once say, like, effective collaboration happens when there's this mutual sense of respect amongst your teammates. So I would always agree, like, that's the one that they didn't fully touch on. It's, again, implied in the video, but they never explicitly say it. And sometimes you just got to explicitly say it for folks, because you have some disrespectful folks. Sorry if if you don't agree with that one, but I've been on some meetings where it's like, oh, we don't know that word. Yep, exactly. That's why you typed it. See, us folks get it. I'm also, again, former elementary person here, and that's a big one in the elementary world. It's like everything starts with respect. You teach the kids, like, you don't always like each other, you don't necessarily always agree, but you have to have respect. So that was a big word in my classroom. Um, all right. So I see some folks continuing to pop some ideas into the chat, and I love it, just because I know that we're getting close to our end time, and I already know some folks are having to drop. Want to just wrap us up really quick. So, watch parties really are some powerful ways that you can share with your community information, right? And we know that videos are being shared anyway. So, watching them together, an even more powerful experience. And if you set them up the right way and you plan it, they can be a phenomenal experience. And it's really going to invite your family community in. And I think that's the biggest thing, especially this year, when, for many of our families, they are unable to enter our buildings. We can't conduct physical meetings. All of these meetings, and I've been seeing it with the schools I follow, they have virtual meetings. You're having virtual PTA meetings, PA meetings. You're doing virtual support meetings for your families. So incorporate a watch party. Videos are really, really helpful. Do a watch party around, how to access the Google Classroom. There's videos on it, and I know because I've seen folks, the Twitters and the Facebooks of some of our schools, and they're putting videos out there on, like, how to navigate the classroom, the digital classroom, right? How to fill out this form. You have the videos, and even if it's just a short video, doing a quick watch party to break it down for your families, they're going to appreciate that. And remember, this is Family Empowerment Month. We want to empower our families. We want to put them in the driver's seat. So sometimes it's just a matter of showing them what they need to do. Oh, and I already love it. I see someone writing in the chat, I am using this in my parents' town hall. I love it. That is what this is about. Terry, come on. Can I get a woo?
I am loving it. I am loving the chat. I am loving your ideas. I'm excited. There are town halls that are happening this month. I know one particular District 9 town hall. I, I believe our District 9 FLC is on the line. So this is another way that we can really engage and promote what we're doing to ensure that our families stay connected. If you have questions regarding these presentations, please, in the chat, we do have a form that you can fill out. If you have any follow-up questions on how to put together a watch party. Okay, this was amazing. Now I want to hear from you in the chat. Really quickly, name some watch parties that you can host. So we have town hall meetings, we have PTAs. Feel free to drop some topics in the chat, but I also have one for you. Guess what, everyone? Here goes the surprise. You ready? Can I have some drums? So Brooklyn Nets put together a video on how to get up and move. Like, so it's a get up and move day with the Brooklyn Nets. So we have someone that is facilitating a get up and move day with the Brooklyn Nets. So it's a coach that's gonna help us to move and do some skill drills at home. So basically, families, all they need is a space where they can move around, and it's hosted by the Brooklyn Nets. If you're interested in hosting a watch party with the Brooklyn Nets, drop me actually, I don't you don't even need to you need to email me because I'm gonna put it on the end of the week wrap up email once we have the video. And I'm also going to put it into the PC website. So all you have to do is download the video from the PC website. Or FLCs, if you're interested in sending me an email, or email face at schools.nyc.gov. To get the video, we're going to give you the video and the facilitator guide. So pretty much you can host a get up and move day with the Brooklyn Nets to celebrate Family Empowerment Month. So please continue what you're doing. You guys are doing great. So yay to Family Empowerment Month.
Woo! I absolutely love it, guys. And I just want to say I'm seeing all of the ideas in the chat on the ways that you might utilize a watch party. I'm telling you right now, there's no wrong way to do this. Like the whole point is that you are engaging and empowering your families to be part of your community. That is what this is about. So, I love everything I'm seeing. The sky's the limit with this, right? Like, if you can imagine doing a watch party, do it. Just do it. Try it out. And, one other thing I want to say, because I know I ran through a lot of stuff, and I know some folks are like, ooh, okay, I'm going to take your presentation. I'm going to try this out. Here's what I also want to say, and it's not in the presentation. I think I need to add it. It's also okay if the first time you do this, you mess it up. Let me just throw that out there because I think not enough of us say this. And I want to tell you right now, it is okay to make mistakes. It's okay if you run your watch party and you're like, oh no, this didn't go off perfectly. So what? You're doing it, right? You're going to perfect it. I will tell you right now, the first few times you run a watch party, things might happen. You might realize, like, technical difficulties in the very beginning. I didn't share my audio right away. I had to it took me an extra few minutes. That happens. That's okay. We're human. I can tell you right now, nothing is more real than when you show your families, hey, I struggle with tech too. And it happens to me. And I work for DIIT. We are the tech folks. Guess what? Us tech folks, we have technical issues too. Things don't always work right. I've had situations where, literally 2 minutes before I'm supposed to go live, everything craps out on me. I think we've all probably been there where we're like, oh, no, panic ensues. But that is when you're going to take a breath. You're going to go, wait a minute. It's okay. It's going to happen. I'm going to power through because that's what we do. So don't be alarmed if it doesn't go perfect. I'm here to tell you, first few times you run it, you're going to maybe debrief with your team and go, all right, next time we're going to make sure we do this, right? Next time we're going to make sure we do this thing. It's okay. Make mistakes. I can't tell you. That's also very powerful for our families to see because remember, so many of our families, they've been struggling with the tech hardcore, right? Like they are struggling. So sometimes it just humanizes the process. Like, oh, you mean you struggle with it too? Yep, I do. Let's normalize the struggle. So it is okay. And I'm seeing it in the chat. Yeah, it makes the parents feel comfortable. These are not easy things to do. And again, even for folks that are experts, we don't do it perfectly. So please acknowledge it when you struggle, when you make a mistake, say whoops and keep it going. Don't let it bog you down. Don't let it get you down. Don't think that, oh, I made a mistake, so we're never doing it again. It didn't go perfectly. No, you're gonna do that watch party again. And the second time you're gonna do it even better. Third time you're gonna do it even better. And listen, by June, you're gonna be a pro. You're gonna be doing watch parties in your sleep.
Thank you, Laura. We really appreciate that. Thank you for encouraging us because I know it's tough, it's hard, and we're not expecting perfection. 100% is no such thing. There's no such thing in being perfect. But what's really important is what's coming from your heart. So thank you, parent coordinators, family leadership coordinators, and family support coordinators, our teachers, our school staff, for all that you do every day to empower our families. Thank you for joining our professional development digital Fridays. We are now, it is 11:15 and we're ending our session by just reminding you to log on every Friday. It's the same exact link for the entire year. So every Fridays, except for holidays, we will be on here on our Fridays series. So stay tuned for topics. All of our topics will be posted at the end of the week wrap up email with the video, with the recording of the Friday sessions and the agenda. If you cannot find the videos, we will also post it on the teams. So if you, we put together, DIIT put together a teams page where you can join and have conversation and look at videos. The videos will be posted on the teams, the parent coordinator DIIT teams page, as well as the parent coordinator website. So please join the fun, share the video, and remember that we're doing the Why Not Challenge. The Why Not Challenge, if you missed my announcement today, is pretty much um, letting you know that if you can host a couple of workshops. So here are the workshops. Thank you so much, Laura. You can host a workshop on the New York City school account. So host a watch party. Today we learned how to host a watch party. Host a watch party. There is a video on how to create a New York City school account. I believe it's on the DOE website and also on the DOE Facebook page. You can also host a virtual coffee with the parent coordinator. We have a template that you can use with the Family Empowerment Month logo. Check that out at the end of the week. Wrap up with me email. I would definitely add a link so you can download the template with our logo. You can use the template for the entire month for all your activities. Also, host a virtual PTA Awareness Day. So it's all about awareness, help our families to know how to get involved with the PAPTA. But most importantly, you get extra points. Actually, you get a lot of points if you do this with your PAPTA. Host a district virtual event. I know District 7 took the challenge, so they're hosting a virtual parent family empowerment day. So shout out District 7 for sharing that you will be hosting a district family day. If you want to share that you're hosting, please make sure you fill out this form. We will give you shout outs at our Watch Party Wednesdays and also our on our Digital Professional Development Friday. And lastly, we want you to post a video, and we'll show you how to do it next week on Flipgrid. There is prompts. I'll add it into the end of the week wrap up email where you can just take the challenge by recording a video and sharing exactly how are you using our Professional Development Friday series after. So this is beyond the Fridays. What are you exact? How are you using the information that you learn? So thank you again for everything that you do. Thank you to our team. I am on behalf of the parent empowerment team at ACE. We thank you for the work you do. We have some parent empowerment liaisons on the line. We have Anthony, Cynthia, Diana. And if you don't know who we are, um, go on to the DOE website, look for the FACE, its website. You'll see all of our parent empowerment liaisons and also our partners in this work, our FLCs, FSCs, and of course, you all, parent coordinators. Thank you again and happy Friday.
Woo! All right, one last thing. It was in the chat, but please, 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 folks, make sure you fill out our attendance sheet. We'll drop that link one more time, but make sure you fill it out. And our session today was how to host a watch party. I'm showing it on my screen right now. I know we have a ton of sessions on here. It's about a third of the way in. But that is our session for today, how to host a watch party. And again, as Derry has said, thank you all for showing up. Remember, these are weekly meetings. So I know we've had some issue with getting out the information. We're going to try and work with our folks to make sure that everyone gets the calendar invite. But please, the link is the same. Feel free to share this with your colleagues. Bring in another parent coordinator. Bring in other folks into this work. Next week, we actually have a real treat. Christina's team. Again, we're DIIT, but we're even offices are like subdivided. But Christina's team, the ed tech team. They have some really great information to share all around Google. So that is really, really cool. They're going to specifically be talking about how to utilize the various tools within Google and really make the most of it, which we know that so many of our schools are doing. So with that, I think we are done.
We're done.
Woo!
Shout out District 11. District 11 is hosting a wonderful series on Wednesdays. So thank you, Yvette Crespo, for sharing that. Keep sharing. We're done. We're gonna give you a few more minutes to fill out the form. We're gonna put some music on because it's Friday. So DJ Chris, do we got any music going on?
Not to put you on the spot.
That's me?
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to take my AirPods out and put on Spotify. Yes.
So stay on. Please join some. Like now, unmute yourself. Our session is done. We're gonna have some music. We're gonna play some music while you fill out the form. Please fill out this form for Laura and her team. We want, it's all important. We want to grow. We want to improve our sessions. This is about you. We want to make sure that the sessions are meaningful, and we also want to know how are you using the information. So, thank you again, DIIT. Oh my God, I love you guys because you every week I feel I just add another tool to my toolkit. So thank you for that.
I love it. Oh, and I'm hearing the Friday tunes. Woo!
Me and my friends at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow.
Christina, I love your background. Hi, Yolanda. Let's see if I can see. I see Yolanda. That's our Bronx. I see Bronx is in the house. Who else is here from the Bronx? Yvette Crespo. Hola. Cheryl. I see Cheryl, our former Parent Coordinator Leadership Institute. Lori. Mario's in the house. Hi, Mario. I see Bronx is strong here. Wendy Martinez.
I see we also got Brooklyn. Don't forget the Brooklyn folks.
Oh, Brooklyn. Let's Brooklyn. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. Brooklyn. I see our Brooklyn folks are here. BX. Remember, Brooklyn Nets, guys. And there's a special message that I will not. There's some stuff that's happening on that video. If you guys want to share that, get up and move with the Nets. I'll definitely share the video so you can host a watch party with the Brooklyn Nets. We have Astoria. That's Christopher Columbus campus. Awesome. Uh, William. William is here. Wow, William, I haven't seen you in so long. Hi, William. Can everybody just thank the IIT? I'm just feeling so blessed and feel so grateful for this partnership. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give a shout out to the IIT. I also want to thank you. Give yourself a pat on the back. It's been a long week. I know it is. Check out the Parent Coordinator website. We do have the forms for the Why Not Challenge. I'm going to drop the links in the chat. everything you need to know about Family Empowerment Month. Check it out. We're gonna keep up the updates.
I'm in love with your body. Could you hear my voice say, I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body. Sabe,
I think we gotta end it with
Feeling all the good vibes right now.
roll of it. Oh, adding it to the chat.